Hey guys, so welcome back again, and today we have a new browser in town. It's called the Zen Browser, and it's an open source browser built on Firefox, which means this thing is going to be quite customizable, and the fact that it's open source, meaning that the plugins and extensions that people can make for this thing is going to be very unlimited. Also, it is available on all platforms right now, whether it be Windows, Linux, or Mac, but keep in mind that it's still in the very early stages of it, so some things might break or some things might not work. You can download it right now for all platforms. By the way, I think that's a really great start. I've played around with it quite a bit. It's really promising, so let's get to it. So when you first open it up, it should look very familiar to you if you are using Firefox. On the right, you can see all these different kind of settings, and you have this workspace right here that you can create a new one, and I'll explain more later. And the tabs you can see are on the left hand side. You can actually move the tab to the right, but apparently it's not working at the moment. So as you can see, it needs some work. But also, if you think this is a little bit too small, you can click this button to increase the size and it will look exactly like this. And I actually prefer it this way. You could move tabs by dragging it around like this. And then you could also hide the whole tab bar by doing Command S and Command S to bring it back out. If you want to set the keybind for this one, you can come into the keyboard shortcuts and look for the toggle compact mode. This is the one you want. Do not go and set the one for the sidebar because that is a totally different one. The sidebar is actually this button instead. So when you click it, it should open like a mini window for you and you can choose whatever you want to open here, maybe Twitter or anything you want to have here. You could just go here and add the URL of the website you want to place in this mini browser, and it just stays here. If you minimize it and you close the sidebar, it will just stay there and pretty much just float over here, but apparently you can't move it at the moment. So if you go ahead and pin it back, it should just stay in with the sidebar. Closing it will just close it. If you reopen it, it'll open the same tab. If you have the compact mode enabled and you select compact mode, the sidebar should hide automatically, and you can choose to hide your search bar or just show it like this. If you hide your search bar, hover it and it should show the search bar. The same thing for the sidebar or the tab bar. It will show up as well when you hover over it. And you could still use the Command S to hide and unhide the tab bar depending on which one you like to use more. On the normal blank page, we have an option to change our wallpaper to the solid colors of our choice, the abstract ones and also the photograph ones. But what I think would be cooler if we were able to set our own wallpaper. I hope they implement that in very soon because that would be really awesome. You could split tabs by holding the command button and choosing the tabs you want to split, and right clicking it and split two tabs, and Command Option U should close it for you. If you have that set in your keybind, which I will show you in a bit here. And if you want to select multiple tabs, you could do that as well by holding Shift and pressing the tab you want, and split three tabs and Command Option U to close it again. If you come into your keyboard shortcuts, you should see that I have my grid set to Command Option G. I don't know why it's showing that, but it's actually set to Command Option G, and close is set to Command Option U, horizontal to H, and vertical to V. So if I come back here and select two of these tabs and I want to just press Option Command V, then it should just put me in here, and Option Command U will just close it up. The same thing for grid, so it needs three tabs and Command Option G and Command Option U. You also have Workspaces in this browser, but it is experimental and in beta at this time. If you come to this button right here and click it, you should see you're on the main profile at the moment, and if you click this plus button, it should prompt you to create a new workspace. So I'm going to create one right now and create workspace, and there it is. Now if I go back to my main workspace, and if I want to move the tabs from this workspace to the new one, then I can select the tabs I want and just change the workspace to the new one. Great, and I can switch back. Now there's a lot of themes and plugins you can find for this browser. So if I head to the settings and go to the theme store and visit the store, you could see these are the plugins, and I call it extensions, that the community makes by writing code and implementing it in here. There are like color schemes that you can add to your browser, such as this one. I have the Capuchin one on right now. So if I uninstall the theme, you could see it went back to blue, but if I install it, it goes back to that color. So it's that simple to install and uninstall. And also there are some really cool ones here, such as the super pins that allows you to pretty much pin tabs like you can in the Arc browser. So if I go ahead and right click on this one and pin tab, you should see it pop up right there, and I'm going to do it for this one too. You can't quite drag it in there, it just doesn't seem to work, and you can unpin it and then pin it back. I was also able to access this super weird setting that came out of nowhere for these super pin plugin themes that allowed me to move my workspace button all the way to the bottom and adjust the size of the pin bars to a smaller one. But now I can no longer find it. I don't know where it went. Hopefully they can fix it. There's also another one which I want to show you, and this one I already installed it. It is called the floating URL bar. So if I click on the search bar, it should pop up a search bar like this on top of it. If I uninstall the theme and click on the search bar now, this is like the default ones, but I think the floating one actually looks a lot cooler. So I'm gonna reinstall it, and I have this set to a keybind. So if I just do Command K, then I can just search the web or search anything. To find this key binding, you can go to the keyboard shortcut and then go down to, I believe it was, yeah, search the web and just set it to your preferred ones. The bookmark section is also available by default, but I don't quite like, I don't know how I feel about it just yet. You could do Command B to open it up, and you can pretty much just drag the tabs you want into the bookmark and it just stays there forever even if you close it right here, or you can drag it back out just like that. And you could also move the bookmarks to the right side by clicking on here and just move sidebar to the right. This one works perfectly fine, so Command B to open, Command B to close, but I don't know how I feel about it just yet. These pin tabs just feel a lot more familiar to me. Profiles in this browser is a little bit weird. I think it's not working as it should be right now, but you can go and create a new profile by clicking the plus button and pressing continue and just name it something. Just press done and your new profile is created. And you can go through the first few steps by clicking next and choosing your color that you want, maybe green I guess, then next, and you can import your data, which I'm not going to do, and by default using Google, and just go through with it. And then this will just be a totally new window. By the way, if you come down to your dock, you can see like you have like 2 Zen browsers down here, which I think they have to fix that, so hopefully they fix it. But yeah, that's how you make a profile, and to switch it, you can just click and switch back to your own profile. The general settings that you're gonna find for this browser, you will see that it's quite hackable. There's a lot of fonts you can choose from. You can change the font size and maybe go into the advanced settings and change all of these depending on what you like. And there's also a couple more things that you can play with. You can also come back and change the colors that you set at the start, but this won't affect the themes that you have on. And the keyboard shortcuts, which is actually quite hard to understand. I think they need to improve a little bit on, like, find a way to explain which one does what, because it's actually quite hard to set the right keybinds, at least in my opinion, when I try doing it. And of course, there is the theme store that you can visit a bunch and look for whatever you need to. And these are just like CSS codes that you can go into the GitHub repository and look at the source code. Maybe if you're a developer, you can maybe even write one by yourself. It's pretty simple to do so. There is a bunch of these other things, and I think they're pretty heavy on privacy and security as well. So yeah, you can really go in and do some deep stuff in here, including the HTTP stuff. They have sync as well. I'm not sure if this is actually working yet, but yeah, it's available for both Android and iOS. So everything on your phone is going to be synced with your laptop, as long as I believe it's the same email and the same account, if I'm not mistaken. And the extensions are pretty much supported. If you are using Firefox already, most of the extensions should just work fine. So overall, I think this browser has some really good things about it that makes it really different from Arc. I don't know if it's just me or if it feels a little bit more snappier than the Arc as well. I think this can go really big. They still need to improve quite a lot. It's still very early to say anything, but yeah, so far this is so good and I kind of like it. I might actually end up like using this for a bit and see how it actually turns out. The browser world is actually getting bigger and bigger, and there's so many more browsers out there. There's, I think, a new one called Ladybird. I don't know how that one's doing just yet, but yeah, you can see that they're actually trying to compete with each other, and it's just gonna get better and better from here. I think Arc made a really good foundation of a new generation of browsers, which other companies will slowly try to fall into. I don't know if Zen is going to implement AI into their browser, but I guess some people don't like AI, and I think this is, yeah, maybe the one for you guys. And also, it supports on all platforms off the rip, so that is pretty huge for people who are on Linux and Windows. I've heard that Arc on Windows isn't quite as good as it is on Mac, so yeah, maybe Zen is the way for you. I'll leave the link to download the browser in the description below. You guys can go check that link out. And also, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this one, please like the video and be sure to subscribe, as it helps me out a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next one.